Hello, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and welcome to May. We start the month off with all planets direct, other than Pluto and Aquarius, which will be going retrograde on May 5th, but is here to stay and will not go back into Capricorn in our lifetimes. We have Mercury out of shadow and Venus out of shadow by the 26th of May in Aries, right when Saturn moves in, along with the newly entered Neptune in Aries for the next 14 years. Neptune will be in Aries for 14 years. With a brief, Saturn will move in for only about 3. Neptune will retrograde back into Pisces before settling back into Aries by next January. Saturn will remain here from May 26th until April 13th, 2028, so roughly around 3 years again. However, the next few weeks will just be Saturn dipping his toe into this new energy and house. Will retrograde July 14th this summer to finish up some kind of lesson that had to be learned or to show some kind of mastery in finishing up some remaining business in your Pisces. Let me check. Sorry, I was just looking back over my notes. Your Pisces 5th house of love, romance, creativity, self-expression, children, luck, and speculative gains. Before coming back into... let me take a look at this again. I'm so sorry, Scorpio. I had mixed up some of my notes. Okay. Before going back into your Aries 6th house on November 28th, 2025, again, to stay until April 2028. Don't worry about all the dates that I'm mentioning. If I'm repeating myself and it's been a very long day, I apologize. I will write them for you down in the description box down below. Saturn naturally rules your 3rd house of communication, marketing, siblings, neighborhood, self-made wealth, social media, vehicles, short distance travel, just to name a few, writing, speaking, etc. Saturn also rules Aquarius, your 4th house of home, family, property, ancestral roots, and motherhood. Over the next few years, you could be very driven to increase your security and stability within and for your home and family, where you live, but also to be able to accomplish sovereignty in the work that you do, as Saturn shows where we can achieve mastery via hard work and effort, but also gaining freedom because of such efforts. You will be very motivated to look after your health here, as normally if you just had Neptune transiting the 6th house, there could be a hidden health matter or a hidden enemy, so to speak, as the 6th house is the house of open enemies. But Neptune casts a fog wherever he transits, making it hard to see the reality of situations. Our own health habits, which can be represented by the 6th house, can also be our own undoing, our own enemies, like too much alcohol, not enough exercise, poor food choices, etc. Saturn crystallizes and brings into form whatever he touches. So I actually like Saturn here for that reason. You can really get a handle on health matters that had possibly eluded you, and it could have to do possibly with your bones. Saturn rules over our bone structure here. Actually, my husband is a Scorpio rising, and so this is fitting for him with his Aries 6th house, because he's dealing with, shoulder bone issues. So over the next 3 years or so, Saturn will reside here. So if you put in the work, or you may find that you work with a fated or karmic healer, doctor, physical therapist that can come into your life, you can see the results by the time Saturn leaves in 2028. But again, Saturn always requires consistency with your efforts. I say meeting a karmic healer because Saturn represents past lives and is sitting in a house of health practitioners. Also, you will need to watch your health from too much overwork. Scorpio, you can definitely overwork yourself. You will need to put boundaries, Saturn rules boundaries, in place to protect your well-being. Keep yourself hydrated. Make sure you try exercise that helps keep you flexible and fluid, as Saturn can stiffen or weaken the bones, or where you can see arthritis creep in. You may even lift weights to build up your bone density or to better develop your muscles. Having a malefic planet in what is considered a malefic house can actually be positive and negate any of the difficulties. The 6th house is an earth house, and Saturn traditionally rules Capricorn earth sign and likes to produce tangible results and can get a lot of work done here. So actually Saturn being here in the 6th house is, I think, a pretty positive thing. By doing the right thing and being morally correct in the way that you live your life, the way that you go about your day-to-day living, and by being of service in your local community, adopting a pet, volunteering at a shelter, but also with your family members, you can burn off karmic debts in the sixth house. I don't know that the sixth house is necessarily like where we build up good karma, but it's where we can definitely release our karmic debts and pay off karmic debts by service in nature of the house. Home life will be in strong focus with Pluto taking up residence here in your fourth of home and family, and that it's an angular house. The fourth and the 10th and the first and the 7th are the most important angles of the chart. Pluto here will be for about the next 18 years or so, and significant transformations can be taking place. Pluto rules you, so there will be extra weight going into this house of home and family and property, but also tying into the work that you do and the shared resources that you have, as Uranus in 8th and will be moving into the 8th in Gemini. And all these planets are in a smooth flowing trine and sextile of ease. And this is most beneficial for early degree Scorpios from, I would say, like 0 to 6 degrees. We'll be feeling this the most now. And this is my husband, so yay. And over the course of the coming year. The rest of the degrees will just be getting maybe the seed of an idea now to come up with a plan around what you want to do in the areas of health, day-to-day life and work, people you hire for business, pets, service, etc. Investments can be a part of the picture, and shared resources as well, as Uranus will move into Gemini in the shared resource house. It's a house that you naturally rule, July 7th, I believe. The 8th is also a chunky money house where we receive money that comes in from sources like our partner, investments, tax rebates, royalties, loans, inheritance, just to name a few. So it's not necessarily money that you earn. You could be developing and working on building a business that you have only dreamed of doing for a long time. But now with Saturn conjuncting the planet of dreams, Neptune, you can bring that dream and get serious about it and bring it into form. It can even look like doing something unique or tech related. This is so funny because you can't make this stuff up. My husband is actually working on a business, tech related. Internet-based business, because of the movement or the involvement of Uranus. Uranus rules the internet and technology. Maybe you'll be going in on an investment with a small group. Saturn in the 6th wouldn't show working with a lot of people. It would just be like a very select, exclusive group of trusted employees or investors. Your home and neighborhood can change or have an unusual setup with Pluto moving into the 4th and then pinging in and trine over to Uranus in the 8th. But also the 6 is involved, so can show like rental income and rental property. Like, for example, maybe you want to buy another home or cottage or something like that. You can bring in extra money, like Airbnb. It would likely be a property close to home or within driving distance of where you currently live, with the ruler of the 3rd and 4th, which shows local community and neighborhood, in the 6th house of rental income and rental property. Per Vedic astrology, Vedic astrologers see the 6th house covering rental income and rental property. Last but not least, you could be having profound shifts in your spiritual and emotional world with the Lord of Death and Rebirth. That's you, Pluto, transiting your 4th house of roots and ancestral conditioning and trining up to Uranus, the planet of sudden change that will be in your 8th house of, where we store pain. It's secrets and mysteries, shared resources, death, sex, taxes, and the occult. You can have sudden realizations or undergo a period of therapy that can bring healthy new patterns into your family life, better ones, or a new family story can emerge, and breaking, old ancestral, roots and conditioning, even from past lives, and the work also that you do, or the way that you will be going about your day-to-day life will be also supported by these changes, and vice versa, as they are all interconnected and linked. The 4th house of home and family and property, the 6th of your day-to-day routines, service, work, and pets, and the 8th of rebirth, healing, and transformation and shared resources, just to name a few. You can also be spending the next few years with Saturn in the 6th, working hard on a creative project and maybe working from home or becoming a healer yourself with Neptune here. Again, I like the Saturn transit through the 6th house. A Saturn can perform optimally here and produce great results as long as the work and consistency are put in and you don't try to take a shortcut, Scorpio. All right, take care and we'll see you in June.